The first, like the first time I was like, recording and editing things. I remember I trying to figure out how to screen record Minecraft, and I couldn't figure it out. So I took my camera and I put it on a tripod, and I physically recorded my screen to try and make a Minecraft video.
Or super obnoxious, like watermarks and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a funny video that we can play of my first ever Minecraft.
Yeah, like
YouTube
with the
video.
Bandicam watermark at the top.
Oh yeah, man.
And the like circle around the mouse.
Yeah.
And now time for The Viewing Room with Adam and Ethan.
Welcome to the viewing room where we talk about films new and old, local and global. Today we're talking about a Minecraft movie which released April 4th, 2025 with a budget of $150 million US dollars, minus some marketing costs there. Any fun facts on this day? Yeah, I mean, Ovechkin ties Gretzky at 194 career goals. That's cool. I don't know if has he broken it now? Is that a thing? Anyone. Over to these guys. Yeah, I'll introduce our guests. Sorry. Hi, guys. I got a little carried away.
We're not allowed
Sorry.
to talk until I mean, I'm not as surprised.
Let's introduce our guests. I'm sorry. I got carried away. I've been sitting here for an hour already, so I was like slowly like integrating things. No. I'm very patient, and that's why I'll introduce our guests slowly. Right beside me. We can hit the wide. I mean, whatever. I didn't think this.
Ethan, you really got to work on this. This is,
yeah, we can
This was
restart
about
if you
the
guys
worst
want, but
episode start we've ever had, and it should have been the best since we've got fantastic guests.
This is perfect.
yeah. Well, it was about as good as the Minecraft movies, so we'll get that through.
Arguably
It's
better.
only natural. Arguably better.
The same production value. We have some special guests today, and we're on the old set, as you notice. We have Reid beside me, who was on our Oscars watch party episode. Fantastic guy who we went to film school together. Great movie lover.
I like movies.
We have Dawson, who runs like what? Talk about your Instagram.
You mentioned this at the Oscars, and I'm like, I don't even know what this is.
It's called Seen by Dawson, and I don't know. I kind of just sharing a little bit of my insight to kind of connect with more. Kind of just posting about movies. Like my most recent post was kind of my best first time watches in March. So it was just collection of films new I've seen in March. Just post stuff like that. My takes on movies, my reviews, trying to get my reviews out there more. And yeah, no, it's been nice.
Awesome.
Let's go give him a follow. We also have an Instagram, which will be
check that
tagging
out.
him at @theviewingroom_. Thanks very much. And obviously, we have our great friend Adam.
Yeah.
And he's got some awesome Vietnamese iced coffee.
Yeah, no, these things are great. Gone.
Where's it from?
Gone. It's on
Gone.
8th Street, right beside Amazing Stories.
Cool.
Oh.
Check them out.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be
Fantastic.
gone in a couple minutes here when you chug it.
Indeed it is. That was good. I'm going to add a little, but I'm,
Yeah,
there.
thank you. I appreciate that. So the Minecraft movie, as of today, 18 minutes ago, has grossed $157 million US dollars. But internationally, it's grossed $300 million.
Wow.
So in 2 days, it's managed to double its budget.
Yeah.
Sequel.
I'm not
Did
surprised.
anyone in this
Honestly,
room? I didn't
I'm not
expect that.
surprised.
I'm not
I'm
either.
not surprised because it's. I mean, Minecraft is one of the. I think it still is the world's best-selling video game, right?
I think so.
I
believe
don't
so.
think
Kind
it
of
has been- I
around
don't think it's
Tetris
been-
and Fortnite and other
Yeah,
things
I
like that.
think it's still
Yeah,
number
GTA,
one.
yeah.
But that kind of marketing right there, I mean, there's
Sure.
like a whole generation of people that grew up with Minecraft as
Mm-hmm.
their childhood. I think we all played it. As,
Every single one of
us have played it a fair bit. And I think there's a lot of people like us. Like, it's one of those ones that for 20 years, it's been a staple of people's childhood. Like,
Oh yeah.
and I think that right there is just marketing. Everybody just wants to see it because it's something we haven't seen before,
It was also wild is that like what I've noticed is like this movie isn't being like advertised as a video game adaptation because it technically is.
Yeah.
But it's like it's just being advertised just as a Minecraft movie,
Mhm.
and it's like honestly, it's like come like video game adaptations. It did it. It did it. It didn't do anything wrong. Like it was more accurate, I guess. Is the way to
Yeah,
put
Well, that's
it.
the thing with
Like,
with an
it's-
open world sandbox game.
you
it's
can't
like
get it
there's
wrong. You
Not
just can't get it
really.
wrong.
Not
No.
really.
Yeah, we all have some interesting stories, and when we get to like after we do the plot, I think we should all share some of
Yeah.
our stories because
Yeah.
it's a huge part of my life actually, like this game, and maybe it's not so much now, but man, like if I had
It's
to
one of the
put-
very first video games I ever played.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, and we'll get into that. Cast: Jason Momoa, Jack Black, Emma Myers, to name a few. How do we feel about Jack Black, Steve?
Jack Black plays Jack Black in every movie that Jack Black does.
That is true.
Yeah,
He has
kinda-
entered that phase in his
Yeah.
life where
It's-
he just plays himself.
Well, I saw a meme the other day. I'll maybe put it on screen. It was like the four horsemen if they play the same character in every movie, and it was like Ryan Reynolds and The Rock and
Yeah.
like a
Jason
bunch of like
Statham.
literally.
Probably Jason Statham.
Yeah,
you know?
it's like he just is Jack Black, right? You
Right.
see Jack Black on anywhere, it's the same as his Steve, right? Like it's
yeah.
Yeah,
With like just some weird pronunciations of like just a lot of words.
yeah, and just like a lot of energy and like
That's what he
shouting
added
things,
to the
right?
character of Steve is just like he pronounces words
Yeah,
differently.
yeah,
Weird.
exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree with Adam. It was kind of just watching Jack Black be Jack Black in the world of Minecraft.
I don't have anything against Jack Black.
No,
You
I
are
love
just
Jack
watching
Black, for
Jack
sure.
Black.
No.
And so if you're a Jack Black fan, I'm tired of saying Jack Black. Oh my god. You're-
Say Steve. Call him Steve.
if you're a fan of him, Steve, we'll say, then yeah, I mean, like you're not gonna hate it, right? But
But also, like Steve as a character, like is such a he's like he doesn't really have anything. He's just
No.
a generic guy.
But yet at the same time, everybody knows and loves him, right?
right, exactly.
Like you can talk to anybody who plays, or even people who maybe necessarily haven't played Minecraft, and they still know who Steve is.
Yes.
But there's no lore about him. But you still,
No.
everybody knows who Steve is.
and Alex, which we'll get to.
Well, yeah, but not quite as much because like Steve is the OG,
Yeah, but when you launch Minecraft, you have the two options between Alex and Steve.
Yeah, but you didn't originally.
original.
That's true. Yeah, and who's picking Alex? I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Come on. When you have Steve at your disposal, it's kind of like, let's go.
Or
Exactly.
you just get your own skin.
True. Yeah, that's also a very viable option. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of our characters, we have Garrett, Steve, Natalie, Henry, and Dawn. I think this movie could have done without Dawn, in my opinion. Nothing
Yeah.
against the character of Dawn. Just like, seems like weird comic side relief when we have Jason Momoa and Jack Black in a movie.
She just doesn't have much to do. Like her entire character is just like that she likes animals,
Yeah.
basically, and then she
Yeah.
just ends up along this ride for whatever reason, basically.
It's like they split the cast to make it more of like a
diverse.
diverse,
Yeah.
different
Yep.
kind
Yeah.
of like
Yep.
adventure. But like, yeah, I definitely feel like if we're gonna be separating Natalie and Henry, then why don't you have Garrett and Henry go and Natalie and Steve go, or do something? Because I don't know. Like I just feel like a bit odd.
Well,
I like the
even
dynamic.
even the splitting of the characters in general, it felt pointless. Like when there's a fireball in one street. Okay, go one street over. We all know the layout of villages. Like you can.
Yeah, that
like,
didn't make sense.
It didn't make sense. Like just
go around it.
go around. Yeah, like.
Yeah, very interesting. I don't feel like that character needed to be there, but like,
No.
if we're being honest, I don't think many of the characters here were really flushed out in any way, anyways.
No.
So it's like,
No.
I mean, whatever.
And that's not the point of the movie, I think, either, is like all these different characters, whatever. The point of the movie is the world.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
You know,
like the
so
way I
it's-
described it to my dad when I got home was like, it basically just felt like they wanted to make a series of references and jokes about Minecraft that only people who played Minecraft are gonna get.
Yeah.
And they had just had to like come up with like the most basic possible story to like fit it all together.
Yes and no. I think they tried to be friendly because I didn't need, as a longtime Minecraft player, Jack Black telling me what a villager is and what they do to garden and stuff like that. But he did anyways. So I feel like it was kind of like trying to make it so the parents knew, but like also the 8-year-old kids were
Yeah.
like, "Oh my God, they're villagers!" Round of applause.
Yeah, right. There's a lot of applause in the
Yeah,
theater.
these dudes, they love
Yeah.
crushing loaves, man.
Kind of going on top of that, do you think this movie was kind of like made to invite new fans in, get new fans of Minecraft, or do you think mostly it was just for the fans? We know what we're doing. You guys are playing Minecraft. The players are going to come to this movie. Or do you think it was kind of made in a way to get new fans? to enjoy this kind of
Like
world.
it's definitely a little bit of both. I would say it definitely more leans towards like, you know, fans of the game.
Mm.
Yeah,
Because it's like
for sure.
the game's been out for also like since
Yeah, how
the
many
dawn
years?
of time, basically. So it's like, I
2008. So close enough.
Yeah. you knew
Or
what
whatever
you
it
knew what I
goes.
was getting at.
yeah.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
That was it?
No,
Okay,
I
alright.
agree.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I think it was made for, like you say, more fans of the game, more people who played it. But like you mentioned, they're definitely explaining some things there, so the parents who are taking their kids to the movie kind of know what's going on too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's drawing in more fans. If anything, I think it's drawing in people who've played before for nostalgia value.
That's
Yeah.
very true.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of.
I'm
maybe
waiting for
more
the
where
server
that's
to
happening.
launch. That's like, you know, them recreating the world of the movie. You know,
Mm.
No, okay,
guarantee you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
within
Oh, that's
2
gonna
weeks,
happen.
it's gonna
Oh, yeah.
happen. Yeah.
Play as Garrett the
yeah.
Garbage Man. yeah. Obviously directed by Jared Hess, who you might know from Pulling Dynamite,
Nacho Libre.
Nacho Libre,
Oh.
to name a few. But there you go.
Yeah.
Interesting, maybe choice of a director. Maybe an even more interesting choice. The original director, before leaving the project due to maybe creative differences, was Sean Levy, who you might
Oh.
realize from Deadpool and Wolverine just from last summer.
I can
So
kind of see that in a way.
very
Yeah, I can see
interesting
that.
kind of choice.
Even in the form it took, I can see some Deadpool and Wolverine kind of.
We would have got Ryan Reynolds as Steve.
Yeah.
yeah. So,
You would've
As
played it-
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Exactly. Right.
yeah. Yeah. So maybe an interesting choice as like an original director. I think just like, I mean, Sean Levy's a pretty like stylized person, you know, with certain like
Mhm.
titles and stuff. So
Do we know
Would've been
why he
interesting.
left the project?
creative differences.
Oh, okay.
The producers and like game developers in Minecraft didn't really
Mm.
see the vision. Didn't love it. Didn't feel like it
No.
was tied in as well. But
Mhm.
yeah, he kind of left.
I
And
wonder what Notch thinks about this.
Yeah.
another thing, no
We-
Notch cameo.
No. But
Yeah,
we
no,
definitely
weird.
we
That is
definitely
weird.
should get Notch on the show and interview him, see what he thinks.
Yeah. Notch is the creator of Minecraft, who
Yeah.
sold Minecraft to Microsoft for what, a couple billion
It's a
dollars?
couple billion,
Two,
yeah.
2 billion, I think, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
Something in that ballpark.
Yeah.
He's a very interesting story.
Yeah, his name Alex Peterson, is that what his name is? Or he's a Swedish guy, right?
Yeah, he's Swedish.
Mhm.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
even just like his like life story, like very interesting dude.
Very interesting.
Let's get a
uh,
synopsis.
I wonder what his thoughts are. Yeah, I'll open up my phone, I'll do the Minecraft movie synopsis.
Synopsis. You know, maybe I'll ask my question while we wait for,
Yes.
for Ethan to do this. What was everybody's favorite quote of the movie, excluding
Oh
Chicken
no! Damn it!
excluding Chicken Jockey? I'll say what mine was. The hold up, I wrote it down to make sure I wasn't gonna forget here. Though I should know what the quote is.
I think mine was the when they're flying, Jack Black and Jason Moore are flying. He's like, "Guide me with your hips."
Oh, yeah.
that one. I just love that.
What does he say? I'm gonna grip you for a second. Yeah, that's probably that one.
That whole sequence is just
was
Or
That
with the
was
gas
ridiculous.
when he was poking the gas. He's like,
Yes.
"How did you learn to do that?" Don't ask.
don't ask.
yeah, I think that's my favorite part.
I'd say that one probably.
Actually, when they're on the date, I think that was pretty funny.
Yeah,
date?
that's
Talking
funny.
about
Oh.
how open he is and stuff like
yeah.
that.
He listens so
yeah.
well.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Like what I had was like close to the end, like before the battle, when he was like, "First we mine, then we craft."
Yes.
Fine,
such a
bro.
it's such a stupid
Credits
and
roll.
goofy quote that like it just kind of works.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's they got to say Minecraft at some point.
Oh,
So it's
obviously.
like, and yeah, somehow he combines it. Minecraft. I just don't remember how he does it exactly.
Or-
but it's
I love how they included the word unalive.
yeah.
Did you guys get
right.
that? They
Yeah,
they
they didn't say
included
kill, they said
unalive in
unalive.
there. Yeah,
That's it, yeah.
that was
interesting.
interesting. Yeah, that was very
Yeah.
interesting to see. Are we gonna see
Are they
that
just
more?
well, are they just not allowed to say die or kill or like do they ever in that movie like or is that just supposed to be a joke of just like I'm
No.
gonna unalive you?
I feel like the piglin at some point, like
Yeah, I
the
think
head
they
one
did
says,
say
"We're gonna kill you," or
them.
something.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they did. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But maybe they're only allowed to say it a limited number of
Yeah.
times to
Yeah.
get a certain rating. Who knows?
I was gonna say also that
good
that was
catch.
great catch. The general, I think it's General Chungus. I think that is
Yes.
that's
Yes.
his name or whatever.
General
I remember
Chungus.
seeing in the credits that the person who voiced him was the director.
okay.
Whatever his name was.
Jared Hess?
Jared Hess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I found that because I don't know that voice sounded familiar, but I also don't remember what Jared Hess just sounds or looks like. In
Yeah.
life, so
Right.
it's-
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough. I do have a kind of like synopsis here. Four misfits are pulled into a mysterious portal through a. Wow, let me start that over. I was not even reading that.
Did you read it first?
No, no, I definitely didn't. Let me start that one over. Four misfits are suddenly pulled through a mysterious portal into a bizarre cubic wonderland that thrives on imagination. To get back home, they'll have to master this world while embarking on a quest with an unexpected expert crafter. So, we kind of come through. We meet Steve. Steve's a creative guy. He's stuck in a 9 to 5. He decides that, hey, maybe this really isn't for me because I'm a creative dude who likes making things. So he yearns for the mines, if you will, because that's where everyone goes to find an influx of creativity. I mean,
You're telling me
sure.
you don't?
Yeah, it's never
But
been
there's
my.
no children allowed.
I usually launch Celtics and start writing, but I mean, I guess whatever. To each their own, right? He finds this cube. He gets teleported into a portal, and he's summoned into the overworld, which is.
Can we just point
the
out
lands
though
of
that,
Minecraft.
that cube, it's called an orb, is basically just the tesseract.
Yeah, I made
Like-
that joke as soon as we saw it. I was like, that's
Yeah.
a Tesseract.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they really needed to consider
But then there's
that
like
way.
little writings on it. I'm just like, it's a Jedi holocron.
the little
Yeah.
the little runes and stuff, like the enchanting
Yeah.
table stuff. Like
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. So Steve's trapped into Minecraft and he never wants to leave because Minecraft's kind of a world where you can build, and create anything to your heart's content. And that's not like the real world. You know, in the real world, he kind of explains like people are bullied, cast away, and maybe made fun of for being like super creative. So it's kind of a safer place for him. Despite being monsters and creatures that come out at night, it's
Every 20 minutes.
every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It seems like to him that's kind of like the perfect thing,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Now,
They
correct me
should've
if I'm wrong. I thought the day-night cycle in Minecraft was 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's night is 5 minutes long and day is 10 minutes long, if I remember correctly.
Oh,
Mm.
because
By default.
yeah, for me, I thought it was 10 and 10.
I
thought
think
it was
I don't think
10
it's
minutes
even.
a day,
Let's see.
10 minutes a night. So 20 minutes overall, but not every 20 minutes night comes.
Let's
I
look it up.
don't remember.
See,
Okay.
that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
Daytime lasts for 10 minutes. Yeah, it would be 10. It would be 10 and 10. Yeah.
10 and
Okay.
10, right? So,
Yeah.
so I guess overall that would be a 20-minute cycle, but
Yeah.
not every 20 minutes night comes. Every 10 minutes night comes.
Every
So,
10 minutes. Yeah.
Bit of
You
an
get-
interesting thing there. Dawson, I see you writing. What's up?
Oh no, we'll talk about this later.
Oh, okay, okay.
I will just add, like, during like that moment of like when he does first show up into the real world or whatever, and he's like placing down the blocks right away. The first few blocks that he places, he misses a block, and it's like I noticed that I've just like that's happened to basically everybody
Oh, yeah.
always. When
Yes.
you're like, I just love that little detail
Yep.
of just like you know, just
Yeah.
like as the player of like.
Well, I like how they paid homage to. This is my first house. And then this is my second house.
And it's a
this is
dirt
my third-
house.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that's
dirt
really
cobblestone
awesome.
and then pink wool.
Yeah.
We all have memories playing Minecraft for the
Yeah.
first time, and you either hide in a cave
Yeah,
for the
cave.
night, or
You
a dirt
dig
house,
Build
dirt,
right?
a dirt square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that was really, really funny. We kind of meet our characters through. Let's not hide any exposition here. You know, we have Henry and Natalie talking about how mom's dead, and so now they're kind of moving into a new city that has one pretty much workspace, which is a potato chip factory.
I want to know, how old is she supposed to be?
She looks
Yeah.
15.
Yes,
Yeah.
but is she supposed
But
to be like
she's-
25?
I think
paying
she's
rent.
probably supposed to be around like 20. Like,
Yeah, she's old enough to be his guardian, but she doesn't look like old enough.
She looks like that
Not
she
at
should
all.
still be in high school.
Yeah, exactly.
They just
but then like in every other movie, high schoolers look like they should be,
Also,
like
also
25.
true. That is also true.
yeah, this one's noticeable. Like I feel like they just look a couple years apart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty brutal. Like in my opinion, like
because
it's
how
like,
how
oh,
old is Henry? How is he supposed to? Because he's like what, middle
He's-
school? Is he
He's middle school, but he seems a little older than middle school. Like,
They look the same age. if
yeah,
anything.
really. Like, I if I was
Yeah.
just to like see them, both of them side by side, I'd say probably he was like 13, 14, and then
to
she's
me,
like,
he was in high
16,
school.
17.
yeah, and then
Because it
she's like 16, 17.
It felt very high school vibe.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
And like some of the people around them were pretty big. Like I'd say maybe like junior high kind of.
yeah,
You know,
'cause
like
it's tough
Yeah.
because the states is different. Because
yeah,
you know, in our elementary schools, we had one teacher that taught us everything.
yeah.
But maybe it's different in the states because you know the one teacher's like, yeah, I teach you.
It's not
art,
even
and
just
I teach you gym
It's
or
not even
whatever,
just in
or whatever
Canada.
it
It's
was.
different places in the world. Like I mean, even here it used to be like middle school was you go to different classes. So
I'm comfortable saying I felt he was around 13.
mhm.
I think.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
a good
that,
guess.
And she looked like she would be 16 or 17.
Yeah.
The fact
But
that
she's
she was-
probably
when she was behind the wheel, I was like, "Bro, you're 12 years old. How are you driving?"
right.
And the
Just
theater,
got her license.
Yeah.
in
Sorry,
the theater, I know me and you shared a look. We were both kind of like, huh, like that is not right.
yeah, I was like, "What do you mean, mom died? Like,
Yeah.
you should be living with grandma and grandpa." Like,
Yeah, right.
This is crazy. Like, yeah. So, anyways, very interesting. Henry's a bit of a different duck. He's very creative, kind of like Steve. Maybe he's looking for a bit of a mentor, which he finds in Garrett, Garbage Man. Is it Garrison? Like
Yeah,
that?
Garrett the Garbage Man Garrison, I think.
Yeah.
Gamer of the Year 1989.
Yeah. So,
I definitely don't think about that all the time.
Yeah, right.
played by Jason Momoa, he's kind of like a weird, just older Gary. Like,
Honestly, it really is Gary. Like
Yeah.
a lot of things he says, I was like, that's kind of Gary. Like
Yeah.
we could put Gary in there and he'd do just as good a job.
yeah. And
Honestly, though, Jason Momoa's acting in this, he's probably one of the better actors. Like his performance in
Yeah.
this was actually pretty good compared to the others.
I appreciated Jason Momoa's effort.
Yeah,
It didn't feel like he phoned it in my opinion.
yeah, but
and
none of them did.
I
I'm
like
just
this
saying it was better
character.
than the others.
Well, he just had
Yeah.
the most character.
I liked
So
this
it's
character. As again, motivations aside and stuff. It's not a very long movie, I guess, too.
No.
But
An hour 40.
they definitely didn't focus on like let's develop these characters.
And let's be honest, it could be about 25 minutes shorter than it was. Like there was
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
like the whole villager dating scene
You
and
take
like,
that
keep
out,
cutting back and forth.
yeah.
That was just time padding. Like you
Yeah.
take that out easily. I enjoyed it that it was in there, but like did it add anything to the
That
story?
was some of my
No.
favorite parts of the movie.
Well,
that
yeah,
was
that's
kinda
my point.
fun.
Is that's why I don't want to see it gone because it was funny, but like really from a time perspective, you don't need it.
You know what? Maybe, again, I usually like shorter movies. I felt like it could have had a bit more, like 15 minutes more of world building with like
Mhm.
skeletons and stuff, and in the
Yeah.
nighttime.
I would have liked to have seen a little more like you say, just building of like the journey, right? Because he just brushes over. This is my first hill. This is my second hill. Like I would have liked to have seen a little more like him doing some like mining and like exploring, and like it just kind of goes from like bear to like being this Stampy's lovely
Mhm.
world. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fair
He
enough.
talks about yearning for the mines, yet we never see a mine.
And I think,
Yeah, until the very end, we
until-
see a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
him getting some diamonds. but-
I think that's maybe where it kind of provides the point of like, hey, maybe this isn't for new people. This is maybe more of a love letter.
Yeah.
Than in terms of like, we're gonna make an essay regarding the Minecraft world, right?
Is that not what this is?
Yeah, fair enough. So Natalie starts working at this potato chip factory. She's gonna do the social media managing stuff because she's like hip and cool. Henry kind of starts making friends at the school he's at. He ends up blowing up the potato chip on the potato chip factory, like their mascot. And so he gets like, he's being threatened to be expelled or whatever because he's trying to prove to the kids how cool he is. But they kind of just see him like a loser because he
Yeah.
wants to create and craft,
Mhm.
if you will. Sorry. And yeah, so Dawn's also there. She like has like a portable zoo thing, and
And she's got a real estate gig and a bunch of other side
She's
gigs.
everything.
Yeah, she's everything.
yeah. So, long story short, Natalie, Henry, Dawn, and Garrett all get sucked into the Minecraft world based on this thing that Henry puts together, the orb, to lead them to riches because they're all broke, they're all a little bit of outcasts, and yeah, we're gonna go to Minecraft. So they run into the world of Minecraft. This is going to be really hard to explain to people who've never seen Minecraft or played Minecraft.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we've explained the world a little bit. Monsters come out at night, skeletons, zombies, all that stuff. And in the daytime, it's a nice peaceful world with nice cool animals. And it's basically your adventure to do what you will with your world, basically. And so they meet Steve, who's currently kind of on the run from the piglins. And he needs to get orb back to basically use his leverage because his dog Dennis, best character of the movie, is being held hostage by the piglins, or so he thinks. So he's going to use the tesseract
Right.
as a little bit of leverage to get Dennis back, but he's not really 100% sure if Dennis is actually with the Piglins or not.
He's just
you know
around.
What I mean?
Dennis is just around.
Dennis is just
kinda
around,
chilling, yeah.
right?
Me and Dennis.
He's just doing Dennis things.
Yeah. So basically, Steve's village gets attacked by piglins. He saves the day a bit with the other people, and they kind of learn how to fight. I'm brushing over
No, because
stuff, but I think
they find another portal, right?
he finds another portal
yeah.
that leads to the piglins and stuff. And
Yeah.
anyways, upon the piglins realizing that like the Tesseract is back in the world, they're gonna go find it and
Yes.
and grab it. And so they attack the village. They fail. What's the general's name?
Chungus.
No, General Chungus, and who's like the female piglin?
Oh, it's
it's a weird name.
yeah, it's like
Magnolia. I don't know.
yeah.
It's something weird.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
I'm on it.
yeah,
Oh,
Dawson's on it.
Dawson's on it.
I'm trying to remember the game system that they had. It was like an Atari something.
Atari something, yeah.
And I want to know if it's a real one. I think it was like a spin-off on an Atari 2600, but I'm trying to remember if what the name of it was. I was doing a bit of googling. I couldn't see it
I don't remember. But why would it be a fake?
because it seemed fake.
Malgosha?
Malgosha. That's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got the mag part right.
Hey, I guess I know you.
Magpie. Magpie.
Yeah.
That's her name.
Yeah.
Anyways, she starts killing her general because she's like, yeah, you failed me, whatever. More exposition. We learn about tools and armor and ender
Crafting.
pearls and
Yeah.
The nether and put in steel.
Can we just point out we went to McDonald's after to get the Minecraft meal, and they were out of the nether flame sauce or whatever it was.
Yeah,
Completely
that was
out.
Very
sad.
disappointing. I
That was
wanted to
very
try
sad.
it. But
Yeah, we wrote 3 complaints, a
Yes.
strongly worded email,
Yes.
and
But we did get toys, and then of course Reid forgot his, but I
I
brought
forgot mine. It was like I got the Grimace,
Yes.
and I don't know what it's supposed to be exactly. Like, 'cause I know
Is
that's
it
a
an
potion.
ender? Is it supposed to be the dragon egg? Maybe. Like a Grimace version of the dragon egg?
maybe, or like I thought ender pearl at first.
Yeah,
but
but it's
Ender
not
But
quite
it's
ender.
too
It's
squared,
too
and it
square
like
to be
kind of
ender
like
pearl.
goes up like a little.
Yeah,
bit,
that's
like,
why I wonder if it's maybe supposed to be the dragon egg,
Maybe,
but like
yeah.
Grimace.
Maybe, yeah.
Grimace egg.
Either that, or was it just Grimace Minecraftified?
Yeah, it was a grimace shit.
Oh, dang it! And they have the cool cards.
Yeah, there's
I
the
like the
card.
card.
I got the card in here.
Yeah.
I
like
said
the cards. They're
in
cool.
10 years it'll be worth 9 cents. So.
Yeah, right.
Hold on
yeah.
to them, boys.
Hey, my mom has like a McDonald's French fry phone from like a long time ago. Because same thing, someone told her, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be worth a lot of money," and then it wasn't. But she still has it. But yeah, we got the trading card too.
Yeah,
They're
nice
like
and
the
shiny.
nice and shiny foil ones.
I mean, you can probably sell it now for like $20 because I'm sure kids are just gonna.
Wait.
want all of them.
Scan to unlock your exclusive in-game item in Minecraft
Yes,
Bedrock.
you get a skin.
Well,
for,
I don't have Bedrock. I'm not
you
a
get skin
pleb.
in the game, so you can play as like garbage. Garrison
Is
or
Bedrock
whatever.
at least free?
No.
No.
Bedrock is like the Xbox and
the Microsoft version?
Yeah.
Of the game, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would be Java edition.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah, basically, they have to go to the Woodland Mansion to find a piece of the Tesseract broke, basically, to help
The
them
crystal
go back
that
to
it
go
goes in.
back home, right?
Yeah.
The little socket for it. So they have to go to the Woodland Mansion to find it, and then basically they're going to be good to go home. So they go on
Yeah.
a journey to the Woodland Mansion. They sneak in. They have a little bit of a fight, a brawl with the chicken jockey,
Chicken jockey.
which had a crazy audience reaction. Everyone's cheering, clapping.
We'll throw a video in here
of that.
of that.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna say something. I maybe pulled out my phone and did this a bit for the chicken jockey part because I knew the audience was gonna go crazy. Because I am strongly against filming. I do not condone the use of it in movie theaters. I do not condone going on your phone in movie theaters. I think it's lame and stupid. But for me last night, I had to show people. None of us going in would have ever expected there'd be clapping at the Minecraft
No.
movie.
No.
So
No, the
I-
audience reaction in this movie was unbelievable.
Like Avengers
insane.
Endgame level. So
Yeah.
I
More
felt the
than that,
need-
arguably.
Honestly, yeah.
I felt the need to go like this to prove to the world that people were clapping in the Minecraft movie because you would never. I would have bet my entire bank account, which granted not a lot of risk there, but I would have bet my bank account that there would not be clapping last night, and I would have been solidly wrong. And there was other people recording and doing shit and jumping up
Probably,
and
yeah.
clapping.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
There
is
was
this?
one guy in particular in our theater in like the back corner who was yelling out all the time things,
So
but it was so
passionately,
funny.
yeah.
It was so funny.
like voice cracks and,
and
stuff
it's
like
in
that.
this
Yeah.
that video that we
Yeah.
that we
He
just
screams
played.
chicken jockey
Anyways.
before it even says.
Some of the worst memories I have in theaters comes from people being on their phone next to me. Like when I went to Alien Romulus, this guy had his brightness up and he's scrolling Instagram, and I was like, that really took me out of the movie. Like, and it really sucked. And like that's the only time I've ever thought about being confrontational. Really,
But
with
like
people. It's
also,
like, get off
when you
your
spend
phone.
that much money on a movie, like, are you like really like?
Exactly, it's
Yeah.
lame. It's stupid. Like, just don't.
You're just throwing your
Yeah.
money away.
And it
at that
ruins
point.
it ruins it for other people.
Yeah.
But last night, man, insane reaction of people clapping and cheering. I would have never ever thought of it. So I pulled a little bit of a this and I tucked it here and I cut off half the screen, but it's fine,
Yeah.
right? And I don't think anyone was upset because
No,
it was insane. I don't think
We were
anyone
also
was
on
like,
on the end as well, so there wasn't anybody.
That's also true. Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, don't condone it. Don't do it. It's stupid. But I felt the need to do it for the Minecraft movie
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
would have. Maybe it's a dumb excuse, but
No,
but-
I
completely
just want to
fair.
add into also that, like, because I was the first one there when we got to the theater, and I was like seeing like how packed it was, and like honestly, that kind of just brought a smile to my face because I was just like, I mean, this just kind of proves that, like, movie theaters aren't dead.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah.
still a reason to go out to the movie theater, and with a movie, like, you can't do this with every movie, like, cheering and clapping and stuff, but it's like for a movie like this, I would say really enhances it.
Yeah,
it
for
helps
sure.
make a bad movie a bit better.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
No, it was like
Exactly.
it was awesome to see how packed it was, and it was
Yeah.
cool to see like a bunch of 20-year-olds that grabbed beer on the way in, and 8-year-olds grabbing popcorn, all like come together and clap and cheer during
Yeah.
this movie.
Yes.
That's what I
because
mean,
we're
like,
all
it's
passionate. Yeah,
it's a timeless video game, right? Like,
Exactly. Yes.
everybody from my 10-year-old cousin who's so passionate about Minecraft to me, like it just spans generations.
yeah, it was just cool
Yeah.
to be able to connect over something that we're all passionate about. Like
Yeah.
you really felt that community in that theater.
We did take a video of how packed it was, which is it was insane how busy
Yeah.
it was. But it's nice. You hear kids behind us being like, "Oh man, that has to be in the game."
Mhm.
You're like, man, I remember when I was in grade 5 and like we would talk about Hero Brian and stuff like
Yep.
that, and it's like,
Yep.
it's like, man, it is really nice to know that that's still around, and it's like, yeah, it's something that you can share in. And like I said, maybe this wasn't the best movie, but that definitely makes like that hits you in the feels a little bit because you're
Yeah.
like, wow,
Yeah.
like such a huge part of my life that's kind of maybe being passed down to other
Yep.
people who
Yep.
who need something,
course.
right? So
I mean, they're never gonna know the OG Minecraft. The game has changed a lot.
right,
yeah.
but maybe arguably,
But it's still the same
They're gonna look back in 10 years, and that's gonna be their OG
Yeah,
Minecraft,
that's true.
right? And
Honestly,
so
yeah.
it's always changing, always developing, and it has a special place in our hearts. But maybe we got to make some room for other people to have it in their hearts, right?
Yeah.
So very cool thing. Very happy to see it packed. Again, we posted that video on our Instagram at the viewing room _ and maybe we'll put that clip up on the
Sure.
screen at some
Yep.
point. They get to the Woodland Mansion. They sneak in. They have a little fight with an Enderman. Henry destroys an Enderman, which kind of shows how powerful they are, not to look them in the eyes and stuff.
I really
like
like the way they did that.
Yeah.
Like where it was like you look in his eyes and all of a sudden like you see like it was them like you're worthless, you're nothing. I like that.
Yeah,
It
kind
was-
of got
At the same time though, it felt backwards because like when you so in the game you look at an Enderman in the eyes, they get angry and start attacking you.
Mm-hmm.
But with this, it almost felt like it was trying to make him angry.
Mm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like by like what he was seeing when he looked into
So
its
Steve
eyes.
has some exposition on that here. He says they like get into your mind
Mhm.
and like basically like melt your brain.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily see it as that. I feel like it was trying to like pacify him to the point where it could just like basically eat
That's
him.
true.
You know
That-
what I
that's a
mean?
good point.
way of
Yeah.
putting it. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I really liked what they did with that. It kind of like got a
Yeah.
little bit psychological.
Yeah,
The
Yeah.
sound,
Yeah.
it gave it some depth and the sound design
Yeah.
is pretty cool. I think I'm a little disappointed because the creeper didn't sound like a creeper at all, which I
Oh.
felt really upset about.
And I wanted
Yeah.
to see them use like the creeper explosion, like the pixelated gray and white explosion.
Yeah.
I so wanted to see them use that.
But it was just an actual explosion.
It was just an actual explosion.
But
yeah.
the Endermen, the villagers, the animals, the zombies taking damage, like the
Yeah.
whatever, absolutely perfect. Like
Yeah.
they
Great,
did
yeah.
such a great job with that. So it's a little bit disappointing that like the creeper sounds weren't like that.
like well, that's the thing is they did such a good job of blending the sounds from the game, but like if you just did it with only the game sounds, it would be kind of bad.
and
but,
playing
like,
pig stuff.
Yeah, and
that
they
made
used some
me
of that original
really
music.
happy. That's my favorite.
I
music
would have
disc
liked
in
to have
Minecraft.
seen more, like some of like just the basic ambiance that you hear in the game anyway. Like I
Yeah.
would have liked to have heard some of that too.
We're nerds.
But yeah,
Epiphany moment.
you're just
Wow.
figuring that out now.
Wow. Yeah. The general, what's her name? Oh, the female sorcerer,
Malgosha.
Kenosha.
Malgosha.
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 Her background is basically like she was on Nether's Got Talent, and everyone,
Yeah, that was a good reference.
That was funny.
everyone made fun of her because she was bad at dancing, and so now she denounces creativity.
Isn't
So
that just the plot of Footloose?
wait a yeah. So I mean,
Footloose in Minecraft.
whatever. Anyways, they run away from war generals and stuff. Basically, Garrett dies trying to sacrifice his life, which was kind of a pointless sacrifice. Yeah, he dies, which again, he could have completely ran away and been
Yeah.
fine, but instead he was like,
Also, just
I
the
got
way the
this.
explosion happened and stuff, like he was right in the middle of it, so it's like realistically, he should just be dead.
Yeah.
But like it's played off as like, you know, oh, he's not actually dead
Yeah.
or whatever, but it's just like the way it was all done, it was just like, nah, he's just dead.
and there's
Like,
no
he's just-
sad music even.
No.
Jack Black looks
Yeah.
at Henry, he's like, sorry, I mean Steve looks at Henry, and he's like, yeah, I'm sorry, kid. I know he meant a lot to you. I was like, okay. Again, this 13-year-old kid.
I've
hanging
known
out
him
with
for,
a
like, 30
40-year-old
minutes.
dude.
Like,
I was just waiting for them to start dying and just respawning. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, that could have been cool.
Yeah, like
That
just
could've
like,
been cool.
oh my god, he died, and then just behind them, hi guys, I'm back. You know,
But
like,
they have a little reference where they wake up in beds, which is kind of
Yeah.
cool. Like,
Yeah.
That's interesting. Basically, at whatever point, General Malgosha gets or Sorcerer Malgosha gets
The
the cube and starts
no, it's the orb.
whatever the Tesseract.
It's the cube
It's
from
the
Transformers.
it's the cube-shaped orb.
starts turning the overworld into the Nether,
Yes.
denouncing creativity. But we have like a battle of the 5 armies endgame moment kind of thing, where we have
Battle
like
of 5 Armies is Lord of the Rings.
yeah, I know. But we have like
Endgame's
the,
only
we have
two
like
armies.
we have like the wolves, we have the pigs, you know, all the kind of things. Anyways, Dennis leads an army of wolves. They make a bunch of iron golems, which is kind of cool. Everyone's cheering and clapping, going crazy.
Yeah.
We have the piglin armies, right, and gas and stuff. So again, they kind of battle, basically using his powers of creativity. Steve and Henry kind of like get the orb and destroy it. Steve kind of like kills General Malgosha.
Yeah.
Not really kills, but like
I was gonna say, does she
defeats-
actually
she
die,
doesn't
though?
actually
Or,
die.
like-
I think she dies at the end because she falls over right in the dirt
Well-
and then's like twitching.
We're not really sure. That's kind of them setting it up for the sequel.
Yeah.
Turns out she's not actually dead.
But it's like, why is she also just not burning alongside everybody else, though?
She's in a cloak, I think.
Is that why?
Maybe. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
It's a good point though. Like that's not really.
Yeah, and like the
obvious.
2 little like babies that like she has like with them or whatever.
That's true.
Interesting
Aren't
little
burning?
inaccuracy here. The piglin babies are completely passive.
Yeah.
If in the game, if you hit them or do something to anger them, they don't do anything. But in this, they're like super angry and aggressive. There's nothing you can do to a baby
Yeah.
piglin in the game to make it angry at you.
Yeah. Also,
You know, like
when
iron
they-
golems are passive. If you hit them, they attack you. But that's not
Right,
the case
yeah.
for the
Yeah.
babies,
But
right?
it's also with the zombie pigmen, they don't burn, do they? If I remember correctly,
I
zombie
don't-
pigmen don't burn
Zombie
in daylight.
pigmen don't burn, but if you bring a piglin into the overworld, it does kind of turn
Right,
into
but you bring the piglin and it turns into a zombie piglin.
I think it just
and they
makes
don't
sense
burn.
in the context of this movie because the cleanup. You know what I mean? I think it just kind of
Yeah.
it kind of makes sense.
That's
To me, it makes sense, right? Like,
Yeah.
because like the normal piglins do catch on fire, so it kind of makes a little
True.
bit of sense there, right? Like
Yeah.
the zombies do burn anyways, so maybe it makes a little bit of sense. But you are correct; the zombie pigmen do not burn.
Yeah.
Again, kind of we're like into the game here.
There's a few different things like that, but
I take back what I said. Minecraft movie is not lore accurate
yeah.
anymore.
There's some things that they definitely
Yeah, no,
changed,
some things
but-
for sure.
God, that's what ruined it for me.
Yeah,
The
could've-
lore.
There could have been so many more things. Like they could have like done exploding beds in the Nether. Like that could have been such a funny
Oh,
scene,
that
right?
could've
Like they're
been
like,
fun, yeah.
oh, we got to rest. Okay, well I'm gonna put down a bed and then boom, things like that. Like
Right.
That'd be great.
Yeah. I kind of like how they made Enderman kind of scary because it helps establish that the end is the end of the game necessarily, even though there's no end to Minecraft. I like,
Yeah.
they throw in like, oh, the Endermen are scary, which maybe sets up a sequel where they have to go defeat the Ender Dragon.
Yeah.
Interesting enough.
Definitely.
Whatever. Creativity is restored to the world, but Steve decides to leave with Dennis to go back to the real world because maybe although creative people and stuff are shunned a little bit in the real world, that hey, maybe if there's enough of them doing cool things, like we can bring some more light to the world. So Steve goes back with the gang. Dennis comes with them. They have like a cool little rock out montage, and yeah, there we go. That's
Yeah.
kind of like the Minecraft
That was the
movie.
That was a
Minecraft.
Minecraft.
That was
movie.
a Minecraft movie.
We have an end credit scene where we find out that Steve goes to his old house and meets a girl named Alex.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People were
Audience
freaking
goes
out
crazy.
over that.
Standing
Yeah.
ovation at the end, crazy.
Yeah.
I do have to say, there's a Technoblade tribute.
Yes. That
very,
was cool.
Very kind of personal for me. I have two stories that, if you don't mind, I'd like to share.
Go for it.
Go for it.
No.
Technoblade was
No,
my
I don't want.
Okay, so little lore. Technoblade was a Minecraft YouTuber. He was diagnosed a couple years ago with sarcoma. He passed away. Very sad moment in my life. He was my favorite YouTuber, and he was a big inspiration for me. This guy actually was a huge push for me to kind of start creating Minecraft videos and YouTube videos as a whole, which sparked a huge passion in editing and creating and making movies, which largely led to me going to film school and being here right now with my own podcast, doing stuff like this with my best friends. So, like, yeah, that was a huge part of my life. Very sad to see him go, and I was really like sad, and I still watch his videos to this day. And boom, now like we're here, right? And he has a tribute, and that was very special to me. Another cool thing is actually on the first day of film school. At media school, I had like a Technoblade U2s ordered, and it came, or like a plushie or whatever, and it came the last day of media school, which I thought was pretty cool. I ordered it the first day, and it came the last day.
Yeah.
Just a cool little interesting
Yeah,
story. Favorite YouTuber, nice to see him have a tribute, and rest in peace, Alex. Yeah, super cool guy. Would have loved to meet him. He was a huge inspiration for me, and yeah, there we go.
A legend.
Super cool legend.
There's
and
a
very
few
happy
other
that
little
they did
references like that.
Dan TDM?
Dan TDM.
was in
I
there.
didn't even notice that. I just heard somebody scream, "Is that Dan TDM?"
I feel like they could have done more with Captain Sparkles. We did some stuff about that.
That's what
Maybe throw in a bit like of other stuff, but I feel like,
Like I said, Stampy.
the Minecraft
Yeah.
story
That one
mode-
I used
mode
to
stuff, yeah.
love watching Stampy as a kid. Like he was.
But Dan TDM and Technoblade are two very solid references that I think they did a good job incorporating. And maybe if they did a sequel, they would show like things like Spleef or stuff like that, and servers and creative and random stuff like that. But
Yeah.
but for a generalization of Minecraft, I think they did a decent job. Dawson, you had a question for us to pose, and I feel like maybe it's time to open the floor to you.
Time for that. So, obviously, we watched this Minecraft movie last night. It didn't really have too much of like a plot story necessarily. That wasn't why it was made. So I was kind of thinking in my head, like, what would I kind of like to see as a Minecraft movie? You know,
I'm glad you
what
brought
would
this up.
Dawson like to see? So I was kind of doing some thinking. Kind of wrote down a couple ideas of what I would like to see as a Minecraft movie, and then I also thought I'd pose that to you guys. So you kind of got in a little bit late, but I told that to Ethan and Reid. I don't know if they came up with something or little thoughts they had.
I wrote a little something, and like
I can go first if you want, or
maybe,
whatever.
yeah, you could go for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm glad you posed this question because this is actually something I was going to ask too.
Okay.
So
This
this
is a very good question.
Perfect. So I can explain each one, but I kind of wrote a little synopsis, if
Yeah.
you say, for each of them. So the first one, I have, a man finally leaves the only home and family he's ever known, yearning to find the perfect place to build his own sanctuary. He must face the unknown lands, places of breathtaking beauty, yet home to the most dangerous creatures known to man. But along his journey, he encounters the most terrifying discovery of all, another human just like him. So my thought with this is like, obviously if you make a Minecraft world, it's yours, right? Yeah. You're solo, it's a solo world, maybe you have some friends in there. So my thought about this movie was like, what if you were kind of playing your Minecraft world and you found another person on there? Maybe kind of like Herobrine in a way.
You mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
That could be cool.
So that was kind of mine. Like I said, I don't know if they're dumb. I kind of got home last night. I was
No, I
thinking
like
like,
that.
That's the sequel.
what could we make for a Minecraft movie? I don't know. I kind of like having stories, so that's kind of what I came up with. That was mine.
Cool.
Any thoughts about?
Yeah.
Any
Well,
thoughts
I
about
see that actually plays perfectly into what I was gonna say is because I felt like with this movie that it was too grand almost. Like I just wanted to see more of like you said, like just more like as if you were just playing the game, like kind of more humble beginnings and like a little bit smaller scale, like almost like over dramatized, like the first time let's say you're just the first time you have a pillager attack the village that you built your base nearby or something, And like that could be like a really like over dramatized battle or something. Like I wanted to see it a little bit smaller scale before you go like saving the world and going to the Nether and all that kind of stuff. Like just kind of a little smaller scale. And I feel like that exactly like plays into that. But.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Like you said, it'd kind of be nice to see some like full-on aspects of playing the game, like trying to find a place to build. Exploring on the way, maybe.
Yeah.
Getting lost in some caves, maybe.
And just showcase more of the biomes. Like like every time you spawn in, you got to find where you're gonna build your base. And most of the time, you got to go thousands of blocks in different directions, right? You go through a terracotta biome, you go through the ice biomes. Maybe some polar bears,
the
penguins,
mesas,
badlands, all those different biomes, and like kind of showcase that you go through the jungle, get a parrot, like that kind of stuff.
Very interesting point too, because they go flying and do stuff, but we see plains biomes, hilltop biomes, maybe some snowy mountains, like obviously caves and stuff, and like dark oak forest. But like, we don't see any deserts. We don't see jungles. We don't see any
ocean or anything.
Exactly. So very, very interesting point you make.
Isn't there jungle when they're with the pandas and stuff?
There is in the pandas, but I don't.
Are they not
remember
in the jungle?
I don't think they're in the jungle. It's just like he brought them to his like base, I think.
And in the water bucket scene, because that's when we first saw them. Yeah, I didn't notice much jungle scenery
Maybe
around
there was
them,
bamboo and stuff behind them, but
they were definitely eating it.
Yeah.
So I don't.
I kind of just remember them being
I didn't see anything like distinctually that just screams jungle.
Yeah, that's a good
It's
way
just
of
I
putting
kind
it.
of figured if there's pandas, they're in the jungle.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's
Why don't you go next?
Okay. So I didn't have like an actual like a new story per se or whatever, but I just kind of added something of like what I think would make the movie just better. Honestly, and basically just so when they're in the real world, and when they go into the overworld or whatever, they actually turn into like blocked versions of themselves.
Oh yeah.
Instead of just them like live action or whatever, because it does have that problem of like mixing live action and CG and all the stuff that they're all the green screen and stuff, and it just looks weird a lot of times. And so it's like I feel like that would probably just also solve their problem with that, and then be vice versa. So like when the villager goes into the real world, he turns into a real person.
Yeah, that could be kind of cool too. Yeah.
So it's like that's the only thing I tossed in there of just like something that I would do to like just make the movie just better basically. So
no, I think that would have added a lot, honestly. That would have been a nice thing to see.
Fair enough.
Probably would have saved production costs too when you don't have to do all that mixing. If it's just pure CG, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly. Yeah, and at that point, you're basically just making like an animated movie with some live action stuff, basically.
There's a fine line between like, were we remaking Minecraft story mode, right? And other things like that, where it's like, how do we incorporate live action, and how do we, you know what I mean? It's very interesting. Right?
Yeah.
For me, I wouldn't incorporate IRL if I was doing this.
Yeah, no, me neither.
To me, it makes it feel like a Jumanji knockoff. Like when they remade Jumanji, like remade Jumanji, and they had it where they get sucked into a game, which I actually really like that movie. I think Jack Black in that movie does fantastic as Bethany. Actually hilarious movie. Have you guys seen that one?
Yes, yeah.
So good in my opinion. I really enjoyed that one. I mean, maybe it's not perfect, but like
it's a fun time.
I think Kevin Hart does a great job. I think The Rock, the Rock's The Rock, but I do feel like it's interesting seeing them as different characters, and Jack Black, I mean, he does a great job in that one. I think that's pre-Jack Black being Jack Black in my opinion, because he does a good job in my opinion being a female teenage girl.
Being a fan of Tenacious D, that's always just kind of been Jack Black. Like he's just kind of that over the top craziness,
Yeah, but I think he does a good job like talking like a girl.
Yeah.
Like a teen girl with like a
getting
phone.
the mannerisms.
The first thing is, where's my phone? Like when he comes, I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
Anyways,
it definitely does have a lot of parallels to the Jumanji remake.
I wouldn't throw in that idea. Instead, I would focus on the basic journey of Minecraft. When you go into Minecraft, what do? What's the general end of Minecraft for most people?
It's defeating the Ender Dragon.
What do you start your world with the goal of doing? Beating the Ender Dragon. Yeah. That's what it's always been for me. Is whether it, like no matter what I'm doing, it's like, okay, I'm gonna trade, maybe get full netherite, do whatever, but I'm going to kill the Ender Dragon. Yeah. And yeah, I would focus on that. I would focus on like going through the motions and getting to the end and defeating the Ender Dragon, maybe like more of like a Lord of the Rings style thing where it's like going on the quest. And yeah, I would
It's
do that.
interesting though. They take this movie in much more of like an ode to creativity direction, right? Like it's
Exactly.
less about the, like you say, the game and playing the game, and more about the creativity options. Like really, it's an ode to creative mode, not like survival mode.
100%.
Yeah.
And I mean that's fine, it's good, but I think like we've all just kind of said, we really just want more of the Minecraft journey, right?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
And I think that's maybe where the waters get muddy. Obviously, it's like I said before we start recording. I think the reason why we haven't had a Minecraft movie sooner is because it's kind of hard to incorporate some of those things. Because Minecraft is a very kind of strange game when you think about it and try to explain it to someone, right? Like, there's no block physics. Everything else has gravity, but like the world itself, right? Like if you cut down a tree, the tree floats.
Yeah.
Very interesting idea to kind of incorporate. The blocks get small and shrink when you break them with your fists.
Yeah, but some blocks do have gravity, like gravel and sand.
Right.
And anvils,
yeah.
So
right?
very
It's
interesting.
so weird, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of a reason why maybe that it hasn't been a thing for quite a while. And I think they did a decent job trying to incorporate those things, but it's tough. And I would just definitely focus on killing the Ender Dragon and kind of getting to that world and
I mean,
elements
even
of
if you,
loneliness.
Even if you do it in like 2 movies, like kill the Wither first. Maybe make that, because then you can have an evil villain who's like you make like if you want to have like that evil villain instead of just PvE kind of, then you have somebody who spawns the Wither and you got to beat the Wither first.
Maybe it's different for me, but I've never killed the Wither before I killed the Ender Dragon ever in my time.
I
playing
did
Minecraft.
once or twice, but it's definitely not as common. But I'm
Don't
just
you
trying
have
to think
you
of
have
like
to build it. Don't you have to build it?
yeah,
together
it's
or
soul
whatever?
sand in the same pattern as the Iron Golem, and then it's
Three nether
three
skulls.
nether,
Yeah.
That have like a
Ender-
1%
Enders-
chance of dropping from
yeah.
Wither skeletons.
Wither skeletons. That's it.
Nerd. No. Yeah, so I would focus on that element where it's like actually feels like you're like beating the game. And maybe playing more into those elements of loneliness where like obviously Steve gets a little lonely, but then he finds Dennis and it's like, oh cool. And I'd focus on that kind of bit where it's like, hey, like maybe you feel a little isolated despite having the whole world at your disposal, but like look at
One
this,
thing
we have
that
companions.
he's like, because when like Dennis leads them to him, but wouldn't Dennis just teleport to him? I mean, that's the way the dogs work. That pets work in the game is he would just teleport to Jack.
And that is
That
a
is
very good point that I never really
true.
thought of. But
Yeah.
That's true.
but he is able to find him no matter what.
He is.
which is
Yeah.
hard.
No. It's just interesting. Like, not quite accurate.
Just
but-
has an everlasting scent on him.
My Dennis. I listened to
that's
the
the
soundtrack.
other thing. The
Yeah.
music in this movie. It's like they couldn't make up their mind whether they're a musical or a
Yeah.
movie. Because there's like 3 songs. There's the Lava Chicken one. There's the Dennis one. And then there's
end
the
song?
end song with like the rock end song once they're back in the
Yeah.
overworld or the real world.
Mhm.
And it's like those are fine. But like if you're gonna do that, let's do more of them. Let's make this a musical. But I don't think that would have worked.
It
but
just
like
it just feels out of place.
yeah, exactly.
It
When
just,
he's
and it feels
randomly starts
random.
singing-
Yeah, exactly. He just
Yeah.
starts singing. It's like, oh, we're doing a musical.
yeah, like
number
that
now?
one. That one
Like-
just really.
Yeah, I
felt out
thought
of
someone
place.
spiked my drink when all of a sudden he was like, la 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 lava,
Yeah, right?
chicken.
Yeah.
Steve's lava chicken, yeah,
Yeah.
it's coming to you. But I can't even hate because I listened to that 3 times this week.
Yeah,
It's
we
my
know.
number one on Spotify.
You couldn't
this
stop
week,
singing it
But
after
that's
we
the
got
other
the
thing. Like
movie.
the songs aren't even like that like good.
They're not
I
good, but they're
guess.
not like terrible
But
either.
like I don't know, and maybe that's the point. Maybe the point is that they're not supposed to be good, but it's like I don't know. It's hard to tell, I guess, because it's Jack Black, and Jack Black is an actual like I say actual.
He is. Yeah, I mean,
He is an
Tenacious D.
actual singer,
Yeah,
so it's like, and that's definitely why there's just random musical numbers in here. Is just because Jack Black can sing.
It's kind of just like the Super Mario Bros. Movie with Peaches. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
there's if you get
True,
Jack
yeah.
Black, you get a song or two, I think.
True.
And that's just a perfect example of like taking an open world game and trying to turn it into a movie is kind of hard. Like it's really
Yeah.
hard to do, and
It is,
and
yeah.
I don't know.
I'll maybe go through some of my likes and dislikes, and then we can open the floor and we can all talk about it. I didn't like the characters; they're all bad, half baked. I mean, Jason Momoa, thumbs up to him for giving it a try, and Dawn kind of sucks in my opinion. She has some funny comedic relief, but like out of all the characters, I feel like she's the least developed. She's also poor, like, and has side hustles in which she couldn't work as hard. But like beyond that, right? Like
Mhm.
she's just kind of there.
But doesn't she have like every job in that town?
Yeah.
Like,
I thought the sound design was really good, although I know you guys didn't feel the same way, but I felt like it was a little quiet in the theater. I wish maybe I
Yeah, I
felt
didn't
like
really feel
it
that.
could have been louder.
I didn't.
I don't know. No, I felt it was fine.
I loved seeing the kids go crazy for the movie. It helps put things into perspective of who the movies are made for.
Mm-hmm.
And kids saying like, "Wow, that was such a great movie. I can't wait to see that again." And again, we talked about
Target
this a little
audience.
bit with like Moana and target audience
Yeah.
and stuff. And I feel like, hey, we're allowed to dislike things and have opinions, and of course, we want things and stories to be great. Just because it's a kid movie doesn't mean it has to be bad.
Yeah.
But it is really nice to see kids also just like who are completely looking at it just from like not even nostalgia purposes and trying to break down the story, but just looking at it as like, oh, I'm gonna go home tonight and play Minecraft after this. Just like it's really cool seeing them like actually dig it.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was funnier than I thought it was gonna be, especially with the villagers. Having the theater go crazy was awesome. Jack Black riding Jason Momoa was hilarious. Doing the Ratatouille hair thing with that was just funny.
Yeah.
I love the world and the world design. There's so many options for failure there, but I do think they made the animals look good and the zombies look good, and I think they did a good job with some of the sets making it look good for live action. Like I said, they could do the Telltale Minecraft story mode animation, but I don't think it would have been the same as this. And I feel like you can tell there's maybe a bit more craft in that.
Right.
I like it. I
Oh.
like that.
So subtle.
The plot's mad, but like I said, the audience reaction cheering definitely made it a bit better. Like whenever they say something and someone yells "chicken jockey," like yeah, it's great, right? And like I said, super connected to me, right? I was playing Minecraft when I found out my grandpa died with my brother. We were sitting
That took
down
a
at my
dark turn.
computer. A little bit of a dark story, but it's not a fond memory. But we were building a house out of gold blocks in creative mode, gold blocks, lava,
Wow.
and glass.
Remember the first
And-
few years you're playing Minecraft, you're building like bedrock mansions that are just perfect squares.
Yeah, man.
And have diamond floors and everything. Yeah. Like
Yeah, and I just like that's how I found out my grandpa died, which is just a random memory, but like it's just like a thing. Like it's been it's been there for a lot of pivotal moments of my life, right?
Yeah.
Like the content of it, like watching Minecraft YouTubers and doing it myself, really helped to bring a level of editing and stuff and production value to my life where I realized I wanted to create things, right? And tons of memories with friends and stuff, and yeah, it's just been a thing that's super connected to me my whole life, and it's not as a huge part of my life now, but I can't deny that. Like, wow, like I kind of started doing what I want to do for the rest of my life as a result of a video game, and as maybe dumb as that sounds, I don't feel like it's dumb at all because it's like, holy crap, I kind of based what I wanted to do around my whole career off of what I was seeing when I was 12.
Yeah.
And like it opened up this huge world of creativity to me, and I never like, you know what I mean?
same
If-
thing for me. I mean, like the first time I was like, recording and editing things. I remember trying to figure out how to screen record Minecraft, and I couldn't figure it out. So I took my camera and I put it on a tripod, and I physically recorded my screen to try and make a Minecraft video.
Or super
like,
obnoxious like watermarks and stuff like that.
yeah, exactly.
I have
Yeah,
a funny
yeah.
video that we can play of my first ever Minecraft.
Yeah, like with the
YouTube video.
Bandicam watermark at the top.
Oh yeah, man.
And the like circle around the mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things, right?
Yep.
Where it's just, you learn and you grow, and it's a big part of your life somehow, and it's a tough thing, like to explain something like that to someone who maybe is older or hasn't had that connection. It's like you would never believe something like that, but like it's a very personal connection to something that affects a lot of people that is hard to understand, but at the same time, the people who are in on it, super easy to understand, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of like my likes and dislikes for me for this movie, and how it maybe is connected to me and influences my review in a way.
Yeah.
You want to go down the line and maybe talk about your experience?
Sure, we'll go down the line. I wrote down a few things here. Kind of talk about that. Yeah, I will just say off the bat, it's like I think if I went to this movie probably a week or two from now, I would have had not as fun of a time as I did.
The audience
when
is
we
so
went.
important to this.
So yeah, no, exactly. And the last time I probably had that fun of a movie experience at a theater was probably Endgame. And like the last time it was a packed theater was like Deadpool and Wolverine, and like it got reactions and stuff for sure, but it's like not to that level.
Not to that extent, which is crazy.
No, and that's
too,
the
yeah.
thing. It's like, so probably the closest beforehand would have been like Endgame, and it's just like at the end of the day, you know, you go to the movies for the sake of entertainment, honestly. And it's like as much as I could have just sat there and just critiqued the movie, I just decided, you know what, let's just enjoy it for what it is. Honestly.
You might as well join in, right?
Right,
Like,
exactly.
have
yeah.
fun with everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, you're just gonna be the one guy, you know, sitting there just watching the movie and not having a good time.
Meet Adam.
Every time I looked over when anyone was freaking out, I just looked at Adam, and Adam was just like,
Never clap.
No.
he's just not having it. Yeah, Technoblade tribute. We talked about that already a bit, but that was nice, short and sweet. The whole Jack Black writing Jason Momoa sequence was just funny, weird. And I think we talked about that or whatever, and it was just like, it was so not necessary for them to like get super tight and like close to each other that the way that they did, just because like the space that they needed was like, they're not that big people. Like they're big people, but it's like, you know, you don't need to like, you can spread a little.
It was a
bit.
sizable
It's like,
hole. Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe it pays tribute to a classic Minecraft minigame, Hole in the Wall. I mean, maybe it's not a Minecraft minigame, but it's famous on a lot of servers. Yeah, like trying to squeeze through gaps like that.
Oh, interesting. I was also gonna say, like, cause so during the Enderman sequence, when he's like seeing like everybody with like glowing eyes and stuff, was it just me, or when it was Steve, was his eyes pink or white?
They were like whitishy blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
And
looked
so
a
was
bit
that
white.
not like a reference then to like Harold Bryan or whatever? Because isn't his eyes like white? Like he's basically the same
Yeah,
color
yeah.
as Steve, but just
Yeah, yeah.
white eyes.
That
Oh,
could have been.
interesting. I definitely missed that, but
Yeah.
I,
It was
I
very-
didn't,
it
I
was
didn't
very
notice it in the
subtle.
moment. Like, but you're right. It could have been a subtle reference to your brand.
Yeah, so that's why I just noticed that, and I was just like, "Oh, that's interesting." And so it's like, that'd be nice to see if they do a sequel.
you were supposed to be a hero, Brian.
Yeah, Steve's brother.
Yeah. We'll bring in Monty Python. Life of Brian.
That's good.
Yeah, and like the whole like villager and like Jennifer Coolidge stuff.
Oh, yeah,
was
that-
just it's funny, it's weird, it was kind of stupid,
Unnecessary, completely.
unnecessary.
But still
But I'm
funny.
kind of glad I got it, and like it was. I didn't. The ending, not the ending. The post mid-credit scene, the
Mid-credit
mid-credit
scene.
scene
Yeah.
of them two like at the school or whatever. Then the villager just starts talking
Yeah, right.
normally, and then
with
she's
your-
like talking all gibberish and stuff, and I'm just like, what is going on
It's
here?
such
Like
a-
what? I
Yeah.
didn't get it. Like I didn't know if we were like then in the perspective of like the villager, and like we're actually hearing what he says, and then what he hears in like his
Yeah.
perspective of like what she sounds like.
I love the scene where she hits him and she goes, "Oh no, not again!"
No.
Not
Like,
again, yeah.
When I hit you with my
Like
Jeep Grand Cherokee. Yeah, that's really, really funny, man.
That was funny.
Very Wayne's World-esque, where they're like, "How
Yeah.
could anyone do something so shameless or whatever?" And
Well,
then
but also
pull
it's
up the
like you
Doritos.
can just imagine her like when she keeps mentioning her Jeep Grand Cherokee. That sounds like something like if you had like a Lambo, you'd mention it. I can't. I hit you with my Lambo,
My Inventor
like when you-
1987,
yeah, but when it's your Jeep Grand Cherokee, it's just kind of funny.
Another note that I had here is just it's almost what this movie did was almost the correct way of doing like a perfect video game adaptation, and it's literally as simple as just getting the world right.
Yeah.
Because when you think back on a lot of like video game adaptations, like the reason why they probably suck is because the world just isn't the world.
Yeah.
And it's like the first thing that just came to mind was just like Assassin's Creed and like Tomb Raider, where it's like, I mean, granted, Tomb Raider, yeah, sure, she's on an island or whatever, but it's like that movie was just bad. But like Assassin's Creed, I haven't even watched Assassin's Creed, so maybe my fact is just not accurate because I haven't seen the movies. Whatever.
Well, it's an important point. Like when it's a
yes.
story like Minecraft or any open world game like that, you make your own story, and so like
Yes.
the story is, like you say, less important because every story is different, right?
Right.
Within every world you create, it's different. Within every person who plays the game, it's different. So
Right.
Right. A lot of it's kind of respecting the love the fans have for it, a
Yeah.
lot of it, because that's kind of who you're making it for a lot of the
Yeah.
time. I mean, maybe you're making it for money, but right, the most disrespectful part of the fans is getting the world wrong.
yeah,
Right.
And like facts like that. The most disrespectful parts to paying audiences is a story. But if you have the
But if
world,
you're paying
if
audience
you-
as fans, then
you know what I mean. Sometimes it goes a little bit of a circle where you kind of pass the critic aspect because people are so happy and excited. Where a lot of people may be having a bad time in the theater. We're a little overdrowned by 12-year-olds going, "Yeah!"
I was gonna say it's like the
maybe I did
critic.
that too.
The critic audience score right now is like 40,
40
80,
something, yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
To 87 or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Which I'm kind of
The audience, the thing is, that's the verified audience score. The verified
Right.
audience is slightly different from the unverified. You can't get the unverified on your phone, but you can get it on computer. We'll look it up.
Right.
Very
yeah.
interesting. Dawson's point to show us like the letterbox thing where there was
Yes.
4,000 5-star
Oh,
reviews,
yeah.
and
Yes.
every other review was like,
Bro, there was
couple
like
thousand.
30,000 5-star reviews.
oh my god.
It was, yeah.
Like, I'll double check
That's
that to make
wild.
sure I'm not.
But see, that's the thing, and we always try and do this in the viewing room is enjoyment versus critic, right? Because what is a critic doing? They're looking at a movie from a movie making perspective. Well, this had a shitty story, the acting was terrible,
Yeah.
you know, all this stuff, right? They're gonna look at, okay, those things, that means it's a bad movie. But the audience is like, like you said, 12-year-olds in the theater freaking out. I had a good time. Okay, it's a good movie. You know?
Right,
Yeah.
and that's who it's made for at the end of the
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Sorry, I just checked the letterbox ratio again. 48,000 5-stars.
Oh,
So you can,
wow.
yeah, it is very divided.
Wow.
So take a screenshot of that and we'll throw it on the screen so people can see.
Do it.
Wow, that's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. See, I thought like 5,000 was a lot when I said 5,000.
And I swear yesterday, I swear it was like 30, and it's at 48 now.
yeah,
Like I swear it was like
that's
30
insane.
something
That's
yesterday. So
insane.
that's
Yeah, it's crazy. I think this movie's been out for 3 days, and it's already
Yeah.
doubled its budget,
Yeah.
and it already has over 50,000 reviews on Letterboxd itself. Like,
Yeah.
that's insane.
We're
man.
not just getting a sequel. We're
Like-
getting a franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, I
like,
mean,
this is-
they knew. I mean, I had no
Yeah.
doubts going into it was going to get a sequel.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, it's all the sequels are all based on money, right?
Yes.
And we all knew going into it that movie was going to have huge draw because Minecraft is one of the biggest, if not the biggest game of all time. And so everybody who's ever played it is going to want to go see it, and they're going to
Yeah.
drag their parents and their friends and whoever else to go see it as well.
Grandpa and grandma,
Grandma-
right?
yeah, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I think to me there was no doubt in my mind it was gonna just absolutely bomb the box, like bomb in a good way the box office, and get a sequel, and then we'll see if it gets a trilogy.
And and because it is also a video game adaptation, and because of how well it's doing, it just screams for more video game adaptations. And unfortunately, I think the biggest one is going to be Fortnite. Fortnite is probably
That's
going to
been
get.
talking about that in the works since 2018, man.
Yes,
Yeah.
I guess that's fair.
That's
yeah.
true.
So it's like, but I feel like this just boosts its potential. I guess of probably getting it just because it's just going to bring in so much money.
Who knows? Maybe
Like-
it'll blow people away.
Yeah, because Fortnite is basically the same audience for Minecraft. Essentially.
Yeah, really,
Very,
it
very,
is.
very
So,
similar.
at this point. Yeah,
A lot of people started with Minecraft and then ended up in Fortnite.
and
Basically.
I would say that is kind of reflective of my friend group in a way. Like, I don't really like Fortnite, but I find that when we're playing video
Mr.
games,
Level 200
yeah.
in
Wait,
Fortnite.
what?
I feel like when we play, like, it's like my buddies want to play Fortnite, and I hate playing Fortnite on my own. I would rather play Minecraft, but it's like kind of like maybe you go where like the players are, right? And I feel like in COVID, Minecraft had a huge spike,
Yeah.
and like huge YouTube scene kind of went on when you're talking about like SMPs becoming a crazy thing and all those random things. But then like like maybe now it's kind of shifted and less people are playing video games now because there's no global lockdown, right?
That's also true. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
I want a Rocket League movie.
It's not like Tron.
Isn't it Hot Wheels? I just have one last point, and then we can move on to Dawson. I was going to talk about the pacing. Was actually surprisingly pretty good. Like for the most part, like I never felt like it dragged, except for the only part that the pacing was just off to me was it was after the title sequence montage, and when they kind of stayed in the real world for a bit, and like specifically kind of when like Henry or whatever was in school and stuff. At that point, I was just like, that was the only time where I'm just like, hey, can we like move on from this and like get back to like the Minecraft world, which is what the movie's about.
It's a good point. I never felt the need to check my phone at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
The whole
never.
film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I want to throw in one more thing quickly before we go to Dawson. You were talking about the title sequence and stuff.
Yes.
I really like how they started the world with
Yes.
the Minecraft
Yeah.
world generating sound, like that.
Yes.
and the map kind of
map
loading
loading,
in.
yeah.
Very cool. Very much like that.
Yeah, that was
And
great.
I'm sorry, I just want
That
to
was
throw that
great.
one in.
Yeah, no, yeah. And just the story overall was just,
Not there.
it was just,
Yeah.
it was meh. It was so meh.
My thoughts. So we kind of already discussed it. If we go dislikes first, the characters, characters not fleshed out. Wasn't much for story, but hey, that's not kind of why we were going to this. I think we all knew this was kind of a movie to have fun with. Turn your brain off, have a good time. But at the end of the day, I do really like the message that this film had, kind of for creatives and creativity. I feel like it's very normal, and I can definitely attest to this, for creatives in this world to kind of feel not safe. Sharing their thoughts, getting out there, and it kind of shed a lot to that. So it was nice to see, and it kind of showed, the world in that world was kind of very uncreative, and they kind of limited that or didn't really want that much. But this movie really pushed for that, which I really enjoyed. It was a hell of a message.
It takes bravery to kind of let your thoughts and ideas out to the world.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
And it's a very vulnerable moment. We kind of see that when we went to a film fundraiser last week, and you kind of you see some of that stuff, right? It takes a lot of guts to tell the world how you feel and what you want to make, and it's very admirable when people do that.
Yeah, it was just really nice to see them shed light on that. Also really liked how true it was to the game. Like the odd thing obviously wasn't very accurate, but the rail cart system, the water
yeah, that
bucket
was cool.
smelting iron, they showed that one thing when they were making the tools. They actually put it in the furnace, then put it on the crafting table, which I thought was pretty neat. Yeah, I don't. At the end of the day, I think everyone could find something to enjoy, which was nice. We kind of mentioned it earlier, but it was just very cool to see 20, 30-year-olds kind of relate and kind of connect with 8-year-olds during the movie, because that's kind of why we come to the theater, for entertainment, to connect with others. And that was just a perfect example that we got to see that lots.
Yeah.
Honestly, other than what we kind of talked about, I think that's really my thoughts for the most part. Yeah, no, you can start, Adam, if you'd like.
Okay. I feel like
This man has been ready.
no. Just- all right, let's just buckle up, boys. No, so there's a reviewer I like to watch online. His name is Critical Drinker, and he reviews movies. And one of his favorite lines when he's describing the plot of a movie is, and then this happens because it has to, as in and it's basically like because the plot dictates it. Something happens because they need to move the plot forward, and I feel like that's a lot of this movie. Is and that partially plays into the characters not being very fleshed out, and just overall the story being kind of weak. It feels like a lot of times things happen just because they need to move the plot forward, and there's no logical reason why it happens. So that's one of my problems with it. And again, I'll echo everything you guys said. Bad acting, the story's kind of not there. Whatever. We don't need to keep rehashing that. But another problem is the Spud launcher. To me, that was just a pointless thing, right? They were so good about only using things that are in the game, right? And then all of a sudden you have the Spud launcher. And I guess, I don't know, maybe that's a thing now. I haven't played the game in a couple versions, right? So maybe that's a thing now. It wouldn't surprise me. But that was one that I'm like, why? What did you gain from that, really?
Yeah, they were trying to showcase putting real world stuff into Minecraft,
which
but,
I just don't like, because it's supposed to be a Minecraft movie.
Well, I
not
think
a-
it's also showing just how creative, I guess, Henry is or whatever. I guess. Which we've already, gathered.
Yeah,
kind of-
he
So,
built a jetpack,
We
right?
get, we get it. Yeah.
And I mean, even with the double bucket thing that Jason Momoa built, I mean,
Oh,
at least
yeah.
that seemed more feasible than the Spud launcher. But
and funny because he didn't do it on purpose.
yeah, he didn't
right?
do it on
Yeah.
purpose
Right,
either,
yeah.
right? Which I mean, we've all done that. We've accidentally crafted something we didn't mean to,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of my big problems with this. Overall, like I said, it just felt like it was just made as a movie to just have a bunch of fun references, and so it was funny, but I just felt like they could have done it better. They could have kept all the funniness and had a stronger storyline, and that would have just made it that much stronger overall. And I think it just needed a stronger story and better acting for me for it to really land. Overall, I just felt like it didn't land. Like you said, I wasn't I found certain things funny, but I wasn't, it was not clap worthy to me at all, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts.
Yeah, some more structured story would have been nice rather than just kind
Yeah.
of pure slop. I don't know. There was a lot of sloppiness in that
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, mom died.
How?
New school.
Why?
Good luck.
Yeah. But see, like, there's just nothing new about it.
Yeah.
And I know most, like, there's only 7 basic stories, yada yada.
Yeah.
But still, like, just give us something, like something that isn't just so, like, stock.
I was gonna say also though, like I feel like if there was more story to it,
Yeah.
it would have just probably felt like less of a Minecraft movie though, because if they would have more story means more time with the characters, more development that off the get go we already just don't care for. You
True,
know?
and that's where you need
And
to have
it's-
that better acting then too.
Yes.
But also, like, you didn't give them much to work with too. So
I-
can we
also
really
true,
blame
yes.
them
I
for
don't
how
think
bad
as
the
a
acting is?
whole,
Like,
the acting is bad. I don't think as a whole.
They just weren't given. Yeah, they weren't
I
given.
just
they
don't
weren't
think their
giving it
characters were
anything.
given anything to work with, and it's so awkward to take some of these elements to throw in good acting when your character punches something that's like 6 feet away, and all of a sudden it appears in your hands. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's a very awkward game concept, and
yeah.
it's very hard to put in live action, which is why, again, I think that's why it hasn't been done for such a long time. And like, yeah, so I don't necessarily think anything of it's bad, but like when you throw in some of that writing, and
There's
the
a few
dialogue
of
and
those
stuff,
the line deliveries that are just really off. Like,
Yeah.
there's a couple,
Where it
and
was
I can't
probably
even,
supposed to be funny and it just wasn't.
or just it's supposed to be serious, and they just there's a couple like
Yeah.
that. What's his face? Henry delivers that I'm like, ooh, that wasn't good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah, like the whole them being upset at each other because they think like, oh, that maybe Henry would do better in a world like this. Which, brother, I know it's like whatever. Maybe it's rude to say he doesn't belong in the real world, but like, he proves 100 times that he actually literally is flourishing in this world. So it's
Yeah.
like, why are you
Yeah,
taking
sure.
offense when people are like, yeah, you're doing a great job, buddy. Maybe like you should make a home here. Like.
Yeah.
Like they don't do a good job of him like maybe not thinking he belongs there when it's like, hey, like he actually is kind of flourishing, guys. Maybe this is like a good place to teach him some things. Right?
Yeah, I don't know. I just did not care for just the overall story or whatever. So anytime there was any conflict between the characters, I just didn't care. Where I was just like, why are we doing this?
No
Yeah.
substance,
Like,
no
it's-
chemistry,
Yeah,
right? And you're like,
you could argue the only chemistry would probably be between like Jason Momoa and Jack.
Yeah.
right? And there's a
the
little bit
only
of chemistry between him and Henry, but they
Right.
do like make the funny joke of him being friends with like a 12-year-old,
Yeah,
right?
because he
And
has no
Yeah.
friends my age.
yeah.
That's just a weird joke though. in
No,
general.
I
Like,
actually think that's kind of funny though.
It's
because-
kind of
like-
funny, but like at the same time, it's like, okay.
Yeah,
yeah, maybe I don't know.
yeah.
It's just I didn't really care when Henry was mad at Garrett and then Garrett dies and it's like, oh man, I actually really liked him. It's like, really? Like,
The death, his fake death wasn't.
Well,
it was
we
just
all
not
knew he
needed.
wasn't actually dead.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
somebody tell me you weren't surprised.
But the only reason why I would have somewhat believed that he would have been dead is just because just the way the explosion happened and where he
That's
was.
very true.
Realistically, he should be dead.
Yeah.
And also because they've like I guess killed other things before in that movie.
Yeah.
But like
Though I do like the deaths where like it's accurate, like they just disappear and there's
and
like
there's
whatever
like a meat,
a meat whatever drops in their place. You know.
like the lava on the chicken.
Yeah.
That was funny and dark and awesome.
yeah. All right, that's all I have, guys.
Yeah, that's all I got.
That's all.
Let's
review
go
it?
starting from Adam.
Rate it?
Let's go with rating out of 10.
Ooh,
Okay.
out of 10.
Rating out of 10.
Ooh.
It's kind of like a back and forth, right? Like just as soon as you think something's good, it's like there's another thing that brings it down.
A lot of it cancels each other
Yeah,
out,
right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it like going between it's a shitty movie, but it's fun, right? Those are like the two big things, right? Like
Yeah.
when you look at it from like purely a movie making perspective, it's pretty bad. But like when you look at it from an enjoyment perspective, it's fun. So I'm gonna give it a 6.8.
That's way more than I thought you were
Yeah,
gonna
that
give
is wow.
Wow.
That's
Yeah, I thought-
crazy
yeah.
given your reaction.
I was gonna say I did
Peter.
not expect that at
Holy,
all.
from the guy who didn't clap a single time? That's insane.
Yeah, wow. Maybe I'm gonna be a little bit too harsh.
I might be too generous. I don't know.
I might be
I
too
get to
harsh too. Yeah, go.
Yeah, Adam brought up good points. Bad movie, but it's very nice. It got people to the theater. It was very nice to see how many people it got to the theater, the clapping, the cheering. Like I said, it had a great message attached to it. It was a good night. But for me, out of 10, I would honestly say like 3 out of 10.
a little harsh. That's a little harsh.
Oh,
Holy crap.
wow.
That is not what I was
Wow.
expecting.
That's
4
not
out of
what I was.
10?
Yeah.
No. Okay. All right.
Wow.
Gary, don't clap at that.
Okay. Well,
You haven't even seen the movie.
I was gonna say I did mine a little differently because I found it really difficult to separate the overall experience that I had and the movie itself.
Yeah.
Because they are two different for me.
very
So
It's very fair.
with the audience that we had and the overall experience of the movie was a 9.3. The movie itself, I gave a 6.9, mostly because Jason Momoa, Jack Black, funny. So I averaged the two, and which gave it an 8.1, is what I gave it.
Okay.
So
That's too high, but okay.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I should split it up like that because we did have a great theater.
yeah.
We did really have a great theater
And I think it would be
experience.
different. It would definitely be different if we didn't have that.
That can make or
experience.
break a movie, and I've said it 100 times. Part of the reason why I've wanted to make movies is for people doing stuff like that. Like, obviously within reason, being respectful. I don't condone throwing shit. I've seen videos on Instagram.
Yeah, that's
throwing
that's messed
popcorn.
up.
Like, get a hold of yourself. Like, this is so ridiculous. But like, the audience reaction and people enjoying things like that you make, or even if they're not even necessarily good, but like that kind of like connection, that makes me want to make stuff, right? So yeah, man, like I want to say maybe like a 5 or a 6. I'm kind of in that range, like as in like an average, like in terms of theater experience and leaving with a smile on my face and enjoyment, like that was probably like a 9 out of 10 for me. But like looking at a story perspective, if I was home alone watching this in my basement, rough, man. Like that would be like
Yeah.
a 4 for me.
Rewatchability on this, like
It won't
It's
be
tough.
great.
if you don't
won't
see
be
it in the
great.
theater, like it's not gonna be fun.
And
Like,
I have no interest in watching it again, truthfully.
no, there's
I don't really have an interest in watching a sequel either. Will I see a sequel if it comes out? Yes.
Yeah, we'll go watch it, but
And that's again, we got to stop doing this because like that's how these guys are making so much money, making
Right.
slop. But
Curiosity.
it works every time
Yeah.
somehow.
Curiosity.
Curiosity. That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, Minecraft movie, I'm going to be giving a 6. 6 out of 10. One of the lower ones we've rated on the viewing room, but it's very. I don't feel like I was had a disservice done to me as a fan of of Minecraft.
Mhm. Yeah.
I definitely feel happy that I went. I'm actually very happy I spent the money. And
you didn't spend the money.
Yeah, you-
Reid bought
not
tickets
really, yeah.
for it.
I sent you money.
Well, you did,
I
yeah,
I
but-
e-transferred you.
Oh,
That's
I
spending
guess.
the money.
Yeah, I guess, sure, yeah.
That's spending the money. If I e-transfer you, that's spending the money.
English.
But I don't know. I just
Yeah.
So I guess I gave it the highest then.
Oh yeah, by far.
yeah.
Well, even if you just take the movie itself rating,
Oh yeah, no, if I was just writing the movie, yeah, I'd be with you, like a 3.
I was
But
gonna say,
like,
I really thought I was blown away by your rating. That really blew me away.
knowing
his-
Well, to
That's-
me,
that's
that's
shocking.
both of your ratings blew me away.
Well,
honestly.
I
was
just
like,
I just
damn.
think it's important for our ratings to combine like how much
Yeah, no, for
enjoyment
sure.
you have, watching
Exactly.
it, right?
Yeah, I'm very much in the middle. Like I said, I told
Yeah.
some stories of how big of a part this has on my life and how
Yeah.
I very much felt like it did justice to the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, like doing justice to the game is not the same as making shit. And I feel like
Yeah.
we can't keep doing this dance where like we make shit but it's excused by nostalgia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
And-
kind of what it came down to me.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean there it is.
Yeah.
That's all I really have to say.
I just also want to add in like just like with the way that I just review stuff or whatever, if I give something a rating, it like will always just come down to how entertained I was by the end of it. Like I
Yeah.
could sit there and critique a movie forever and like
100%.
just and nitpick it and everything like that, and it's just like, but at the end of the day, did I enjoy the experience I had?
Yeah.
And I will say yes.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I had a very enjoyable experience for a
Yes.
really bad movie.
yes.
And
And you know what? Just to compare it, it will be what experience I had recently was when they were playing The Room. I think back in like December, November, or whatever, at the Roxy or whatever. The Room, notoriously known as just one of the worst or best worst movies of all time or whatever. And you go there, and with the audience that was there, literally made the movie so entertaining because people are talking and making jokes
Oh,
almost
hi, Mark.
the entire movie, and it's like it felt like we were actually there in the movie
Yeah.
itself. So it's like, and that, like, I don't know what I would have given it as like a rating overall that, but it's just like just to compare the two, it's like
Yeah.
at the end of the day for me, it's like how entertained was I by the end of it? really, and I was entertained, regardless. Even if I think the movie is not great, because it is not.
Yeah.
I had a fun time,
Yeah.
nonetheless.
We've talked about this. Some of the best memories in theaters for us: No Way Home, Infinity War, Endgame. Some of those big Marvel movies where people are clapping and cheering. It makes good. Sorry, the wipes are making me laugh. The transitions.
We need to teach Gary to use them tastefully.
yeah.
But we're back.
No. I can't tell if it's a slideshow or what, but anyways, just some of the best moments happen as a result of those things. And so yeah, like it does.
I probably shouldn't
really
tell him
help.
that you can use the little handle to manually do the transition.
It won't work.
Make sure. No, you got to have the same one in preview. There, now try it.
How ridiculous. I guess is that it?
I
Are we
think that's
done?
it.
I think that's it. Yeah.
I think so.
Ladies and
Beat
gentlemen.
this
episode.
movie like a dead horse,
Wow.
like the dead horse from The Godfather.
Damn.
We're gonna put that in Gary's bed tomorrow morning. The Godfather. You guys not seen that?
I know what you're talking about.
I just
Yeah, right. Obviously. Yes, I did slash Gary's tires.
Well, thank you all for watching this episode of the Viewing Room. It was very special having some great friends on the episode. Thank you guys
Yeah,
so
thank you
much
guys.
for
Thank you.
coming.
Thank you
Yeah,
for having
This is a
us.
fun episode.
Thanks
for
for having
sure.
us.
Yeah, this was good.
Like I said, Scenes by Dawson and
Shout
Reid,
out.
check them out. We'll have them tagged in the link.
am Reid.
And yeah, like, this was a very fun experience. So thank you guys so much for being a part of this. This is going to be very memorable. Like I said, I would have never thought we'd be clapping at the Minecraft movie.
Yeah.
Me
so,
neither, but it was fun.
We weren't.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was very much fun. If you're gonna go, if you're not a fan of Minecraft, you're probably not gonna have the best time. But if you are a long-term player or have nostalgic feelings with it, you're gonna have a fun time in the theater, and that's not anyone's
I was
discredit or
gonna
credit.
say it almost might just be too late now because the movie is still gonna make money and stuff throughout, but it's gonna be less and less. So it's like even like next weekend, it's like is that movie gonna hit the same as it did?
Maybe not next weekend, but given the fact that the 10:30 showing
Yeah.
was already still
Yeah.
packed,
Mhm.
Yeah,
it was not
exactly.
even that full for No Way Home. Like I'm being genuine here.
That's
and I
true.
went and saw
Yeah.
that film
They
two
had
or
like
three
what
times.
4 theaters playing this
Yeah,
simultaneously.
I
like
think so.
There
Yeah.
was
I-
like
I have hopes that by Tuesday and Wednesday, there's still going to be some pretty
Oh,
crazy
yeah.
reactions.
mhm.
Yeah.
And I remember going to like a Monday showing of No Way Home, and there was no clapping and stuff. But just given the
Right.
fact that the late night showings were packed and having insane lineups,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
It's like
to
almost
me.
no one goes to like a 10:30 showing.
yeah,
like, especially
very
because-
seldom is it packed like that.
Yeah, exactly. You're not out till like midnight at least. So it's like for the most part.
Yeah.
So
Once the general first wave, though, of people who are fans seeing it this
Yeah.
kind of like crazy opening weekend because they want to see it, I
mhm.
feel like it's gonna die hard though.
Yeah.
Like
no,
I feel like
exactly.
it's gonna plateau. Die hard. It's
Die
gonna
hard.
plateau. It's gonna plateau.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
realistically.
Yeah. No, exactly.
But that's it. So
Awesome.
thank you
That's
guys
it.
so much for coming. Any final thoughts, words, statements?
It was fun.
Jake
Fun
and
doing this.
Jockey.
Glad you guys had me. glad you guys had me and Reid on again. It's always
Yeah.
fun coming
Yeah.
down here and
I don't know how I
chopping
feel
stuff
that
up with
like
the boys.
besides the Oscars that this is the first episode that I'm on and it's a Minecraft movie. I don't know how
Yeah.
I feel. I don't know how I feel about that.
Only
but
the best.
nonetheless,
I am
nonetheless,
honored.
nonetheless, I am happy to be here.
I was honored to get asked to talk about the Minecraft movie. So
Well, you guys are welcome anytime, and we're very grateful that
It's a
you
very
came.
special episode for sure.
Yes.
And we got a
Sure.
special episode coming next week too.
Yeah.
ooh, look out for that.
More on that on the Instagram at the
Yes.
_. So yeah, thank you guys so much. It's been an honor. It's been a blast, and be kind, be safe. Have a great week, guys.
See you later.
Release.